Hey everybody, welcome back to the video. In this one, we're going to be learning about abstraction in JavaScript. So before going into the video, I would appreciate you guys liking and subscribing the video and feel free to comment. So let's go into the topic. So basically, abstraction is the way of hiding the complex details or the details that you don't want the users to see and showing them only the important parts of the code or the details that you want the users to see or check. So that's an example or the definition of abstraction. So there are basically many ways to perform abstraction. Like you can use an ES6 feature called classes, you can use function, you can use let, and this sometimes doesn't work. So this is in kind of like in special cases. So you can also use hashtag too. So that's an example of how you can perform abstraction. So let's see an example without abstraction. So let's say you have a variable named salary. So let's go ahead and do that. Equals, let's just put it 1,000 for now. So we have this salary, and let's say somebody want to access the salary. What they could do is literally they could just do salary equals, and then they can just change it to how much ever numbers they want. So that kind of doesn't make sense because they can just put the numbers to a lot, and then it's not private and stuff. So this abstraction makes the variables or the methods private. So that's basically what it does. So let's see an example with abstraction. So first, let's start off by using classes. So using class just like that, and what you can do is you can just keep anything. So I'm just gonna say user details. There we go. And here I'm just gonna say user name first. We're gonna have as John. Salary should be 1,000. So now let's go ahead and create a method so that we can do console.log and get our user details and stuff. So first of all, we're gonna have our method. So this method probably is gonna be like user salary and details, or let's just do username. Yeah, let's just do user salary first. And there we go. So we have everything done. Let's also have our parentheses. And there we go. So now what we can do is we can do console.log and then do this.salary, and this is basically going to give our salary. So we have our class right here. So now let's perform some more thing right here. So let's go ahead and go down, and here what we can do is we can have something like this. So we're going to do console.log, and actually let's first go ahead and create a new instance of this. So we're going to create a new instance saying user name, or let's just say user1 equals user details, and then we don't have to pass any parameters. We have to create a new instance, and there we go. So now what we can do is whenever you create the new instance only, you can access this. So there we go, user salary, and that should be good. So let's go ahead and go to our live server. There we go, it's 1,000. And you can also change this because you create a new instance, and that does work. So this only works if you can create new instances. And if you think about web pages, they really can't create new instances that much unless if they're super intelligent or so. So yeah. And the next thing is let's go ahead and delete this to see without the new instance. So now what we can do is we can do console.log, and what we're doing is user salary. Do that, and there we go. So since it's a function, we can do that. So let's go ahead and see in our output. So there we go, user salary is not defined. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new instance after this. So user1 equals new user details, and give a parentheses. And then what we're gonna do is user1 dot user salary, and there we go. So now after this, what we can do is, there we go, already it's not coming for us. Salary is not defined. So if I remove this, it's gonna work for us back again. User is not defined, so let's go ahead and first remove that, those spaces, and that's user1. And there we go, 1,000, that does work. So that's basically what classes can do. Now let's go ahead and see another thing called functions. So I know we learned about functions, but it's kind of important to know about these two. So what you can do is you can create a function, and after that you can just have something like this. So you can have, we're gonna use the same thing, user details, and there we go. So first of all, we have to have our parentheses. Since I don't have any arguments, I'm not gonna pass any. And then we're gonna have user salary equals, let's just put 1,000. And inside this, if you want, you can create a more function, but I'm just gonna do console.log. And then user salary, oh, I forgot to add the y. So let's go ahead and add the y and see if it works or not. So first, let's go ahead and add y, just like that. So this function is not going to work still, because there we go, we are not calling this function. So unless this function gets called, or like the classes, which we have to create a new instance and access this, unless this is called, it's not going to work. So let's go ahead and do something like this. We can do user details, and then there we go. Now that's gonna give us 1,000. So normally, let's say without the function, user salary equals 1,000 console.log user salary. And after this, we're gonna call this function, because basically it's gonna create a new variable, so that's why we don't want that. So let's go ahead and do user details, and then I'm gonna change this to that number. So let's go do that. So the first one is gonna be the 1,000, which is our new variable, user salary, and that's 1,000. And you remember, it's not changing the user salary of this function. There we go. The function, the salary is still the same, so that does work. So that's an example of how you can do this too. And I'll say this pretty great way to understand about abstraction than the classes. So that's example of using the function. Now you can also use let. So let's go ahead and get our classes. So the class which we already wrote before, so let's go and do that. So now let's go ahead and use let. So let salary equals 1,000, and if we go there we go, unexpected identifier salary. So because salary is not global and stuff, because this let is not gonna make these stuff global, and which is gonna make it come in here. So I don't think so we have to use it that much, because I don't think so that's that required, but in functions it's gonna work more better. And you cannot use let just like that, because you cannot make it private kind of like that. So yeah, so it's kind of private too, same at the same time. So let's go ahead, and now what we can do is we can work on the last step called hashtag. So this hashtag is gonna let us, or make this specific this property as private. So let's go ahead and change to this dot hashtag, and there we go. So now there we go, 1,000, that works. But let's just say if I want to change it to user details dot user, let's go ahead and do user salary, or basically it's salary. So let's go ahead and do salary, and there we go, we are not even getting anything. Oh, so let's go ahead and do hashtag salary. There we go. You cannot even change it. So it's not even coming as a pop-up. So yeah, you cannot change it if you keep a hashtag. And I would say that's a better way than using let and stuff. Let is kind of like a weak thing. You can use it in functions. It's gonna work more better in much functions. But I'll just say hashtag is a lot better. So that's basically how you can perform abstraction. So that's basically today's video. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.